welcome everyone to the People's House.
Mr. Speaker, will you please call the House to order?
The bill is passed.
This bill says that New York understands the breadth and the depth of the problem.
Pretty graphic statement with that one, that's for sure.
Welcome to Assembly Update. I'm Tom Abenanti. I'm your legislator here in Albany. If you live in the town of Greenburgh or the town of Mount Pleasant or any of the communities in the town of Greenburgh or the town of Mount Pleasant. I'm looking here at a very graphic picture of U.S. anaphylaxis. What's that?
U.S. anaphylaxis is a survey of states that are currently enacting laws that would allow nurses to inject epinephrine in the case of attack of anaphylaxis in a school, even if the student does not have a prescription, and also to allow those schools to stock epinephrine in case of emergency.
I'm here today with John Terry, who is with the Allergy Advocacy Association.
That's correct.
And your main goal is to do what?
Our association is dedicated to saving lives from anaphylaxis, and we do this by a program of awareness, alertness, and action. We participate in health fairs and also presentations to interested parties and in trying to advocate for better laws to protect lives.
I think we better explain to everybody what anaphylaxis is and why we're involved in this effort.
Anaphylaxis is a very dangerous physical reaction. It is commonly caused by people who are sensitized to particular substances: peanuts, tree nuts, bee stings, soy, milk, wheat, certain medications. If they have an attack of anaphylaxis, they're at risk because of the severity of it. It can cause swelling in your throat, stomach aches of very great swelling, heart palpitations, trouble breathing.
So this is actually something that the normal person can come across in everyday life. Yes. And we hear about it all of the time. When we talk about kids at school having allergies to peanuts, somebody getting stung by a bee and having this really negative reaction, this is what in the scientific or the medical term is called an anaphylactic reaction.
That's right.
And so and just about everybody knows someone who reacted terribly to some substance or to a bee sting or something like that.
That's right, Tom.
Now, as I understand it, in simple terms, again, there is an anecdote, and it's called epinephrine.
That's right.
And epinephrine comes in lots of different forms, but we have in front of us here examples of the devices used as a auto-injector.
That's right. The
So,
epinephrine auto-injector devices, that's right.
and how does this stuff work?
It's used to inject into your thigh. It has to be held for 10 seconds in order to get the medication through the intramuscular system. Epinephrine is the fastest acting medication to fight off an attack.
So it's like
of
a wonder drug.
anaphylaxis.
So
Yes,
if somebody
it is.
gets this, the anecdote, you stick them with one of these things, you're getting the wonder drug into the body as quickly as possible.
Yes.
And it's a lifesaver.
Yes, it works very fast and it's extremely effective, yes.
I see. And you're telling me that only about 35 states have now passed laws that allow the wide distribution of these.
In the last 2 years, Tom, there's been a groundswell of support for these types of bills, very similar to the bill that you're currently supporting here in New York State. And the reason that these bills have been supported so greatly recently is fear of having school children having these attacks. There have been some attacks in other states that have been fatal. So it shows a real groundswell of support for these types of bills to be enacted. We're hoping the same thing will be done here in New York State soon.
The bill that we're talking about, which I'm sponsoring, is one of many bills that Assembly members and senators have introduced to deal with this terrible problem, which is curable.
Yes.
Which is curable. Or preventable, I guess is a better word. There was a story in the New York Times about a couple of years ago, which pointed out that the significant problem we have, that you can only get epinephrine with a prescription. and that you might find yourself in a circumstance where several kids in a classroom have epinephrine injectors prescribed for their allergies sitting in the nurse's office, and then some other kid who nobody knows has an allergy gets stung by a bee or takes a bite of peanut butter sandwich or something like that, and all of a sudden is on the floor, choking,
Yes.
choking, suffocating, and the school is not allowed to use the epinephrine that they have for another student.
Yes.
And they're not allowed to stock it even. They can't even have an extra supply in the nurse's office, and that's really the problem that we're dealing with.
Yes, that summarizes it very well. With enactment of these bills that enhance access to epinephrine, our association believes very firmly that children's lives will be better protected.
I know my son carries one. We thought early on when he was a little baby, he was tested and he showed some allergies. And we thought it was an allergy to peanut butter. And so the doctor said, or the nutritionist said, why don't you try almond butter instead? And it turns out that he's fine with peanut butter, but he has a very severe allergy to tree nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And he took some almond butter and got very sick. Fortunately, we didn't need to use the injector, which we had because we thought it was an allergy to peanut butter.
Sure.
And now this was 10 years ago or so, and he's been tested again, and we're sure what his allergies are. It's the tree nuts. But we were fortunate that we didn't have to use this, but we had it there in case we needed it. And I've seen other circumstances where people have needed these. Unfortunately, they're around. But restricting the schools so that they can't have these stockpiled and that they can't use them is really a wrong-headed policy, and that's what we're trying to change.
Yes, the policies in New York State, if they're upgraded in the manner that we're hoping, we believe that they will be better policies and that they will better protect children. In terms of the widespread nature of peanut allergy, for example, in the last 20 years, the number of individuals who are threatened with peanut allergy has tripled. It's now up to 1 out of every 13 kids, which is 2 children in each and every classroom.
Wow. A lot of schools actually have a policy against having peanut butter in the school.
Yes.
But you can't be sure that someone was just telling me, well, we had a press conference today, and one of the legislators came forward, and she told me that her daughter, as an adult, took a bite of a sausage, and there was something in the sausage that resulted in her going into an anaphylactic, what do you call it? Attack, right. And she was rushed to the hospital, and she's okay now, but they determined that there was some substance there that she was allergic to.
Yes.
And so many people, as I understand, that have allergies, they don't know about until something goes wrong.
Yes, they're very unpredictable, and also it can change as you get older. Some children are fortunate enough that they grow out of their allergies. Other people, unfortunately, can become sensitized at a later age. That's what happened to my sister Ruthie. She had been stung by bees many times in her life, but only in her later age, when she became a beekeeper, that she became sensitized. And after she was stung a second time by a bee, she suffered a fatal attack of anaphylaxis. So that's how I became to know this. But it's an example of how these allergies can change in very unpredictable fashions.
So it was a personal experience that you suffered that brought you to see that there was a public policy need here.
Yes, I felt that I could help families in Western New York and the Rochester area to be better prepared, and so raising awareness, providing information through our association, being a clearinghouse of sorts, that's our goal of what we're trying to do.
Now, the Allergy Advocacy Association, what is that, a nonprofit?
Yes, it is.
And does it do anything other than this?
Well, we also do a couple of other things to try and help people. We have a means of providing grants of certain types for educational purposes, and also we try to encourage certain institutions that have mandates that require them to stock epinephrine, that we do provide some funding out of a small basis for those types of things.
But it's all about epinephrine and alerting the public.
That's right.
To the dangers of anaphylaxis.
That's
right. You know, it's interesting when we talk about the personal circumstances sometimes motivating policy. one of the Assembly members who came to the press conference today, I guess from Western New York, had a similar story. I mean, he told us that he ate something, right? And then he choked up, he was suffocating, he was lying out on the floor, and fortunately the EMS got there in time.
Yes, they saved his life because they had epinephrine available.
Right.
And they administered it in very timely fashion.
And that's a story we hear over and over and over again. How do these things work? There's two different types here. This, I guess, is what's called an EpiPen, right?
That's
How
correct.
does that work?
It's a very simple device. It has a safety on one end, and then it has a needle guard on the other end. And what an individual will do is that you remove the safety, and then you inject it intramuscularly. It has to go into the muscle, and it's recommended that it goes into the back of your thigh. It makes a loud click, and then you hold it for 10 seconds, and that gives the medication time to get into the circulation through the muscle. Then after it's applied, the safety guard pops out over the needle. So that's been one of the most popular injectors that we've had.
And what about this one?
This is the most current one. It's called an AVQ, and the AVQ has a couple of features that make it very useful in case of an attack of anaphylaxis. It has a small microchip that then powers a speaker, and it gives you verbal instructions on how to inject yourself or to anybody else that needs instructions to do it.
Does that one work? Can you demonstrate that one?
You pull it out of the case.
This trainer contains no needle or drug. If you are ready to use, pull off red safety guard. To inject, place black end against outer thigh, then press firmly
Use my arm.
and
Use my
hold
arm.
in place for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Injection complete.
It was a device that was
Trainer
actually
may be
perfected.
reused for training purposes. Replace the red safety guard and gray outer case.
Well, there we go.
It was created by two engineers who had life-threatening allergies, and it's produced by the Sanofi Corporation. This one is produced by Mylan Pharmaceuticals.
So there's two on the market right now.
Yes, there are.
And now there are some other bills pending also. I mean, the bill that I'm introducing, that I'm pushing in the legislature right now, would allow schools to stock epinephrine without prescriptions and would allow trained personnel at the school to administer them in case of an emergency. But there's a whole series of other bills as well, right?
Yes, there are. One of the ones that we consider the most important is the student carry bill. It's currently sponsored by Felix Ortiz in the Assembly and Michael Ransdorfer in the Senate. The student carry bill allows any student with a prescription for epinephrine in a New York State school to be allowed to carry their prescription medication throughout the school day. This map, which is provided by the Allergy and Asthma Network Mothers of Asthmatics, it shows the states in dark blue that have these laws on the books at this time. And it shows in light blue the states that do not. So as you can clearly see, 49 states have these bills on the books, but New York State does not. We only have guidelines in the education regulations. We don't have an enforceable law at this time.
We got about 20 seconds left. What would be your final message?
I would say the most important thing is that our association stands for is that we want to ensure as many people that they're safe with their life-threatening allergies and to prevent anaphylaxis, to be aware and alert and to take appropriate action.
Go out, try to get yourself tested for everything you could possibly be allergic to.
That's right.
And if you have an allergy, make sure you carry one of these around.
Always carry your allergy medications, yes, everywhere you go.
Well, good luck with your effort. Thank you for your support of my legislation. And to everyone out there, I think the message is very clear. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact my office.